Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Adya Kanchan, and on behalf of the Vidyashilp Academy and Department of Shilbyon, it's my immense pleasure to welcome you all to this deeply meaningful and very much needed session on cervical cancer awareness and the HPV vaccine. At Shilbyon, we believe that awareness is the first step to empowerment, and today we take that step together, not just as individuals, but as a community committed to health, knowledge, and prevention. We're honored to welcome Dr. Shruthi Shivdas, a highly respected gynecological and oncologist and laparoscopic and robotic surgeon who has an experience of 12 plus years. Dr. Shivdas brings with her years of expertise and a deep commitment to women's health, and we're grateful to have her guide us through this vital conversation. Dr. Shruti is a highly accomplished specialist in women cancer care. She holds a surgical degree in gynecological oncology and has undergone advanced training in minimally invasive surgeries. She is widely known for her expertise and compassionate patient centered approach. She is a member of the Karnataka Medical Council and Indian Medical Association as well. We would also like to warmly welcome the team from Cytecare, Amit sir, Spandana ma'am, and Suresh sir. Thank you so much for making this session possible. This session will cover the causes, symptoms, and risk factors of cervical cancer, along with the signs we must not ignore. It will also highlight the importance of screening, early detection, and the preventive power of the HPV vaccine. And most importantly, we will also have an interactive Q&A session where you will have the chance to ask questions, clarify doubts, and engage in an open dialogue. This is more than a medical discussion. It's a step forward to making informed health choices, breaking the stigma around women's health, and build a healthier, safer future for all. Thank you so much for joining us. And Shruti ma'am, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Ms. Adia, for that lovely introduction. So without much ado, let's just move on because it's already a little late. So the thing is, my slides aren't very extensive, so this is going to be a short session, hopefully, not going to keep you bored, just the adequate information, right? So everyone here, I'm sure, are already aware of, or at least have heard of the virus HPV. So HPV is the human papilloma virus, and it has been studied and known to be associated with a few cancers which are related to sexual activity. So that is what it is basically. Before I move on further, so we will be focusing mainly on women's cancers, but just a mention of what cancers it could cause. So before I move on further, I just want to give a brief introduction to the terms or the terminologies that I might be using, which you might not be aware of. So this is the female reproductive tract, which more or less, unlike the male reproductive tract, are mainly internal organs. So this is the uterus, which is colloquially called the womb, wherein the baby is held during pregnancy. And on both sides, you have a set of fallopian tubes and ovaries. The lower part is these are the main organs which are involved in sexual activity, and of which the most important or the main topic of today's discussion is going to be the cervix. So this is the organ that I do want you all to note as you go through the presentation. So this is called the cervix. It's nothing but the lower part of the uterus. Though it is a part of the uterus, these two organs behave in a different way. And this is the vagina, which of course is the part that through which penetrative sex occurs. And then you have the outer skin-covered portion, which we medically call the vulva. So cancers in these three areas. So these are the three areas which are going to come into contact during penetrative sex, right? So we have the vulva, which is the outer skin-covered portion, the vagina, as well as the cervix. So these are the three main areas which are going to develop a cancer from a virus which can be transmitted during penetrative or other genital sexual activity. So this is just a picture of the virus or how it looks microscopically. So the HPV or the human papilloma virus, again, let me stress, is going to cause cancers in all areas which can be involved in sexual activity. And in the current scenario, genital area is not the only area which is involved in sexual activity. So during sexual activity in the females, it is mainly the cervix, the vagina, and the vulva, as I've already mentioned. In males, it is going to be the penis. And in addition, in current world, the other areas that are involved in sexual activity are oral areas, which means the throat, the mouth, as well as the throat. It can also be anal area, okay? So in addition to cancers, the HPV is also known to cause something which we call warts, which can occur in the skins of the hand, it can occur in the genital areas, depending upon where the contact goes. So all these are linked to the human papilloma virus or HPV. So here the catch is that unless the HPV causes a wart, you are never going to have a symptom. And HPV is going to be, anybody who's sexually active can catch HPV. It is just like, you can get a cold anytime you take a breath. So you are an alive, breathing person, you can catch the common cold at any point of time. So it's a very similar thing. So once you are sexually active, you can catch the HPV. You will invariably, as a matter of fact, catch the HPV at some point of your sexual life. It is just that, just like the common cold clears off by itself, you don't really have to take anything for the common cold to go. Your body will almost always deal with it. Just in a similar way, HPV is also cleared by your body's own immune system by itself. However, just like you can sometimes catch a coronavirus instead of a common cold, you can catch some of these strains of the HPV which are very high risk and are known to cause cancer. So there are about 12 strains of the HPV virus, which when they infect these particular areas, which can be either genital areas, it can be oral, it can be anal, it can be the skin, can later on, over a period of 10 to 20 years, cause cancer. Okay. So these are the different types of cancers that it can cause, as mentioned: cervical cancer, vaginal cancer, anal cancer, genital warts, oral cancers, and throat cancers. So this might lead us to ask that is HPV, is it that you can catch HPV only if you are sexually active? So yes, according to the current evidence, whatever is available and what is to be, completely reliable evidence or well-established medical evidence is that HPV is transmitted mainly sexually. But having sex sexually, love sexually can be a very vague term. So it doesn't mean that you have to have penetrative vaginal intercourse to catch the HPV. So it just needs intimate skin to skin contact. So which means that you can still catch an HPV viral infection from even an oral sex or a fingering, depending upon your sexual partner, right? So this is still transmissible without penetrative sex. So that is the catch there. And that is the reason that we start acting at preventing HPV right from when children are in school. So even without penetrative sex in today's world, a lot of children do engage in non-penetrative sex. And this is what we want to prevent the cancer from happening at any point of time by vaccinating them or catching them very young. So this is the point of catching children very young for the vaccines. Okay. Now coming to the other modes, whether HPV can be transmitted by sitting on a toilet commode or by using somebody else's bath towel. So all that, or by sharing a drink, can you transmit? So somebody might have had oral sex, can hanker the HPV vaccine in the mouth, and if you share a drink with that person, can you catch? All that is not yet proven. So they're all just being studied. So if you will search, if you're someone who has the tendency to search the net for it, you might find some articles which even mention that you use, hotel toilets, and you can catch it because toilets, even the wash towels, are having been washed thoroughly in soap, can still harbor the virus. So all that is still not established because our basic concept is that when microorganisms, be it viruses or bacteria, when they leave our body, they generally are not alive, right? So as of now, proven evidence is that it is contacted by sexual activity alone. It is spread by sexual activity alone, but it does not have to be a penetrative sex. It is just intimate skin to skin contact. And the person is not going to be symptomatic with the HPV. The symptoms are only going to come when you catch a cancer. And unfortunately, these cancers are usually symptomatic only in the late stages, right? So the other thing I want to mention to you at this point of time is that not all oral, throat, or anal cancers are HPV related. Most oral and throat cancers are related to smoking, alcohol, and other habits. Similarly, anal cancers are not always HPV related. So the idea of the vaccine is only to prevent cancers which are HPV related. So when you're taking the vaccine, it doesn't give you 100% protection against any of these cancers. It's a varying percentage of protection. Okay. So I just want you to know that. So the other things that can add on to the HPV virus actually causing cancer is a general reduction in the immunity, which can be if you are an AIDS patient, if you have other recreational activities such as using tobacco or alcohol. These can all increase your chances of catching a cancer from HPV. Because the whole point is anybody who's sexually active, you, me, anyone for that matter, is going to carry the HPV at some point or the other. But who among us develops the cancer, there are a few predictors to those high-risk sexual characters. So one being people who are sexually active from a young age. So when we say young age, there's no particular cutoff, but yes, the younger you start sexual activity, be it penetrative or not, higher is your chance of developing a cervical cancer from it. When you have multiple sexual partners, you are a high risk person to develop cancer. So, in today's scenario, being a gynecologist, I can frankly tell that people do start having sexual activity very early on. And the younger you start sexual activity, higher is your chance that you're going to have multiple partners before you settle for one particular partner. Especially if your partner has had multiple partners, because again, that increases their risk of having carrying HPV at some point or the other. Especially if your partner, one of your partner's sexual partner or your partner has ever had cervical cancer or penile cancer, again, higher your chance of developing cancer from HPV. So these are some of the high sexual patterns that can increase your chance of cervical cancer, and these people should definitely vaccinate themselves. Another question that people can ask is, do condoms, so since penetrative sex, you can use condoms, does it really prevent cancer? No. So as I've mentioned, cervical cancer is not just by penetrative sex. It can occur even through intimate skin-to-skin contact. So hence, condoms are not going to be fully protective. But yes, we definitely recommend condoms unless you're thinking of having a pregnancy. Condoms are always recommended during sexual activity because they can definitely reduce your chance of HPV transmission. It can be maybe a 50% reduction in sexual HPV transmission. It can reduce your chances of getting any of the other sexually transmitted diseases such as HIV and hepatitis. All right. So what is the most important available weapon against cervical cancer, and why do we need this weapon? So in women in India and in most developing countries and most other countries for that matter, the most common cancers are cancer of the breast and cervical cancer. So breast cancer can be picked up in an early stage because breast is an organ which is accessible to you. You can always palpate your breast every month and see a breast this thing. And people are okay to go for an ultrasound of the breast or the mammogram. But women are very reluctant to go for a gynecological examination. So therein comes the importance of having the HPV vaccine. Is that cervical cancer is the second most common cancer among women in India. And in today's trend for people to be polygamous, having multiple partners and starting sexual activity early on, cervical cancer is going to be another cancer which is going to come up again in higher numbers. So we need a vaccine against it. This is our biggest weapon. Because these cancers are caused by infection. So most cancers, almost all cancers, are not preventable per se by any vaccine. Vaccines can prevent cancers only if they are caused by infection. Okay, so therein we have a big weapon because the cancer is caused by HPV. We have a weapon in the form of a vaccine. And there are 3 available vaccines in India against HPV. One is the very own Indian Serum Institute of Indian manufactured vaccine, which is called Cervical, and which is available at a very affordable rate of 2,000 per dose. And then we have 2 more imported vaccines, of which the most important one is one which is called Gardasil 9. So that is Gardasil 9, which is currently the highest coverage vaccine available world over. It covers 9 strains of the virus. The other vaccines cover only 4 strains of the virus. So this gives an additional protection of 10% over the others. And this is costly at around 10,000, 9,000 to 10,000 per dose. So the important things about the vaccine that I want you to take home are, the vaccine is to be started when kids are in school and when they are least likely to be sexually active. So the lowest recommended age for the vaccine is 9 years. Okay, so starting from when the child is 9 years, you can vaccinate them. Up to 26 years is the ideal recommended age group for the vaccine. So before the 15th birthday, the child needs 2 doses, and after the 15th birthday, the child needs 3 doses of the vaccine, right? So the next thing is the other thing is that even a single dose of the vaccine has been found to be very effective. So this is something that you can use if you have maids at home, if you have helpers at home. You can also encourage their children to vaccinate by providing them just 1 dose of the vaccine. But for an affordable person, the recommended dose is 3 doses beyond 15 years, and anyone less than 15 years, it is 2 doses. The other thing I want you to know is that the vaccine is for both boys and girls. So people think it's only for girls. No, the vaccine is for both boys and girls because boys also have sexually involved areas and they are not spared. So the virus doesn't differentiate whether it's a male or a female. The virus infects and can cause cancer for anyone, right? The other thing is that even beyond 26, you still have options of taking the vaccine. Though 26 is the ideal cutoff for the vaccine can be taken up all the way up to 45 years. That is the licensed age group for the vaccine. So beyond 26, the vaccine efficacy is definitely lesser than when you are under 26. But having said that, if any person is going to ask me on a personal basis note as to whether I should vaccinate, yes, I always recommend all my friends to vaccinate, and I am also a recently vaccinated person. So that is the thing. So the other catch is that none of these vaccines, even Gardasil 9, the highest protective vaccine available right now, is only 90% effective. No vaccine is 100%. So even if your daughter is vaccinated completely with Gardasil 9, she still has to go for her pap smears once she is sexually active, right? So these dosing schedules I've already mentioned. The other important thing that I want you to take away, be it a woman or a man in the audience, is about pap smear. So pap smear is the screening test for cervical cancer. So just as I mentioned, for breast cancer, we have a very simple screening test called a mammogram or even an ultrasound. We have a very simple screening test for pap smears because even if you are vaccinated, you still have a 10% of chance of getting cervical cancer. So this is a very simple screening test. We can pick up cancer in its pre-cancerous stage when the treatment can be very simple even without removing your uterus. We can have treatments even in the OPD basis which can be completely cure or reduce your chance of developing cervical cancer if we can pick up cancers in pre-cancer stages through this screening test called a pap smear. So when we say screening, this test is for a woman who has no symptoms at all. So even if you are completely normal, you are a very healthy woman whose weight is very much in the normal range, you are very active physically, you do your exercises, you have your vitamins, everything, you still can develop cervical cancer. And it is those women who have to come for the pap smears. You should not wait for symptoms to come for a pap smear. A pap smear is for a completely healthy, normal woman. Anybody who has ever been sexually active, even if you are not currently sexually active, if you have ever been sexually active, you still need your pap smears starting from your point of sexual activity, at least up to 65 years of age. So people who know about the pap smear are also very reluctant to come to the gynecologist because, exposing your genital area is sort of like a very embarrassing thing for them. So here the thing is that we doctors are hardly judging. It's a very simple procedure. It takes hardly 10 seconds wherein the lady lies down and the legs are separated. We put in something like this, a very simple instrument which is lubricated well so that it slides in without no pain, with absolutely no pain. And a brush is put in and a smear is taken and it is sent for testing. So this is to be done every 3 to 4 years at least, up to 65 years of age. Provided all your pap smears have always been normal, you can stop screening at 65 years of age. So the thing is, it's a very simple test. I can assure you that this can be done completely painless. And we are not at all judging. And if your pap smears are normal, you can rest assured that your chance of developing cancer is extremely low. And this has to be given, provided even for people who are vaccinated. So please remember that vaccines are not 100% foolproof. You still need your pap smears if you are sexually active or if you ever have been sexually active, even if you are not currently. So some of us who are in the audience might still know about the vaccine and are probably reluctant to give the vaccine because they've heard of some of the side effects. So the vaccines are available in some parts of India, even provided by the state governments in some of the states. And the Indian government did approve a program where they attempted to vaccinate a lot of girls, but the vaccine was stopped midway because there was news of some of the girls developing paralysis. So that was later studied extensively and found that it was just a one-off case. World over, people have administered millions of vaccines with no major side effect. The only side effects for the vaccine are mild fever and pain at the vaccination site, which would just be managed with a paracetamol. Some people might have a mild dizziness or a giddiness, so we always recommend that the person stays behind for half an hour in the hospital for an observation. So no major side effects for the vaccine. The only people whom we do not recommend the vaccine to are people who have an allergy to baker's yeast, meaning the yeast that we put in food for fermentation. So that is the only known side effect because the vaccine is made up of yeast. So if you have a yeast allergy, that is not recommended, and yeast allergy is not something that we see ever in the Indian population. So the other myth that goes around is that the vaccine causes polycystic ovaries and whether the vaccine causes infertility. No, in current available evidence, the vaccine has been studied for 20 plus years in phase 3 highly advanced trials with no effect on infertility. And of course, people think that the vaccine is only for girls and women. No, the vaccine is for both boys and girls, for both men and women, and the vaccine can be taken all the way up to 45 years of age. Right? And the vaccine is not for people who are not sexually active. So people come to me at 20 years saying that they don't intend to be sexually active. So, but I would still recommend them to take the vaccine because you never know what you're going to change. You might change your decision at some point in time. So definitely take the vaccine, and there currently also is not definitive evidence that the vaccine can be transmitted through sitting on a toilet remote. So there is no surety of that. So what is unknown is always unsure. So please take the vaccine irrespective of whether you intend to be sexually active or not, because the vaccine does not have any major side effects. So yes, so in short, HPV causes a lot of cancers in areas which are sexually involved, which can be vagina, cervix, vulva in the male, it can be penis in male, and in both the sexes, it can be oral cancers, throat cancers, and anal cancers. And the vaccine is to be given before somebody is sexually active. That is the best time, but you can take it all the way up to 45 years. And you do not have to have just penetrative sex to transmit the virus. The virus has no symptoms. So the vaccine is for everyone. And even if you're vaccinated or otherwise, if you have ever been sexually active, it is very important that you have to screen yourself for cervical cancers and food cancers or PAPs. So these are the 3 words that I want you to take home are HPV vaccine, and the PAPs. Thank you. Can I see the video? I can't see them. Hi, Adya, are you there?
Yes, ma'am. Just hold on a minute.
Okay.
On behalf of Vidyashilp Academy and the entire Shilp Beyond department, I'd like to extend a heartfelt vote of thanks. First, a sincere thank you to Dr. Shruthi for taking your precious time out of your incredible busy schedule to be here with us today. Your insights as a leading expert in this field was not just informative, but truly inspiring. We are very grateful for your presence and the knowledge that you have shared with us today. A big thank you to Amit sir, Spandana ma'am, and Suresh Ramu sir for thoughtfully organizing this seminar. Thank you.
So hi, Adya. Hello.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Adya. So upfront, let me tell that I did not really see your video, and I thought you were probably a staff, but I'm thinking you are a student.
Yes, ma'am.
You are a student of which class? Which grade?
We are actually 2 people.
Hi. No.
Yes, ma'am. So we both belong to 11th grade.
So you're the one organizing this, is it?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, ma'am. It's great to connect with you. Thank you for the session. I think it was very informative, and we really had a good time as well.
Yes. Hi. So are there students as well in this? So there are more of, are these all students or are there parents also?
No, I
I
think
believe it's a mix of parents and
Yeah.
students. It was
Oh.
open for anyone to
Is
join.
it? So people are at their homes currently?
few
Few
students.
joined in from school, few are from home.
Oh, okay, that's nice. So are there any questions from the audience? Any clarification that they might need with respect to this?
Okay, so everyone in the call right now, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat box. Otherwise, you could reach out to us at Vidyashilp Academy's email ID. We will forward the respective queries to ma'am directly. I think that's okay, I guess.
So I believe we are planning to come up with a vaccine drive and a pap smear drive.
Yeah.
So does anybody have any queries with respect to that? Or if you do not have, you can connect with Spandana and the team for any queries regarding that.
If you have a question, feel free to unmute yourself and ask it directly.
How many doses are required
For the vaccine.
Sorry, is that a question?
I believe there's a question in the chat box of the amount of dosage required for the vaccines. How many doses are required?
So yes, I had mentioned that. So the doses, no, minimize down. There it is. Yeah, so I have mentioned that you need 2 doses of the vaccine if you are less than 15 years of age before the 15th birthday. Okay. And 3 doses of the vaccine once you're after the 15th birthday. So this is the ideal vaccination schedule, and this is what I would recommend to a financially affordable person. But if you are thinking in terms of providing a free vaccine to anybody who might be working at your home or anything of that sort, even a single dose of the vaccine has been proven to be extremely effective. But the ideal is yes, 2 doses before 15 years and 3 doses after 15 years.
Why is that before 15, 2 and after 15, 3?
Yes, that is because immunity of children is much higher than the immunity of, as you age, your immunity naturally reduces. Your response, the body's response to produce antibodies is much higher when you are less than 15 years. So these are based on trials where they have measured antibody responses and have come to the conclusion that a child less than 15 years needs only 2 doses to scale up the antibody response to meet that of an adult above 15 years, a young adult above 15 years. They need a higher number of or bigger doses of the vaccine to get the same immune response.
So is it better we give it before 15 or after 15? How is it?
Yes, the ideal recommendation, the best age would be before 15.
Okay, so 2 doses before 15 would be ideal.
Yes, for multiple reasons. One is the immunogenicity, the immune response of the body is the best. And after 15, kids can start becoming sexually active.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah. So there is another question. It says also the press point stated that 27 to 45, the vaccine is FDA approved but not routinely recommended. So yes, so when we vaccinate, we always give ideal age groups because those are the age groups when the vaccine is most effective. But since these vaccines are available only since the last few years, we have also studied it in people who are up to 45 years and have found that the vaccine can be effective in that age group, but the vaccine efficacy is way lesser. Okay, so the vaccine is up to 90% effective up to 26 years. But after 26, the vaccine efficacy can come down to say 70% at around in 30s, in early 30s, coming down to around 50% in late 30s. By the time you are past your 40, the vaccine efficacy might come as low as 30%. So that is the reason why it is not the routine recommendation age, but you can take it.
So,
Yeah.
okay, I'm sorry. Dr. Shruti, so what you mean to say is that after 26, the best thing is that you do a pap smear test and find out.
So the pap smear is a must anytime you're sexually active. So if a person is sexually active from 20 years, I would say to take the pap smear at least by 23 years. So pap smear is a must for any person who has ever been sexually active. The vaccine is an option that you can add on to your protectiveness after 27 also.
Okay, thank you.
Another question someone named SK has asked for, is the dosage same for boys? Yes, the dosage schedule and the aging schedule are the same for boys. So as I mentioned, the virus does not differentiate between genders.
Yes.
Right.
Hi, doctor. I have a question. Can you please share the vaccine drive details?
So I think Spandana will get back to you on that.
Okay.
Marketing team will get back to you on that.
Yeah, thank you.
Right. So yeah.
You mentioned one vaccine name, I guess, which was starting with G.
Yeah, so that is Gardasil 9. So there are 2 sets of vaccines. So one is the Indian vaccine, which is Cervical, which is purely an Indian manufactured by the Serum Institute of India, which is licensed only in India, which is a 4 strain vaccine. Gardasil 9 is an international vaccine by the company Merck, MSD, which is an American vaccine, which covers 9 strains of the virus. And currently, at the point as we speak, this is the highest coverage vaccine. So, but there are, of course, vaccines being studied again, which will cover all the cancer-causing strains. So that is Gardasil 9. So this is the costliest vaccine as well at 10,000 per dose. So the vaccine
But
dose for both.
is this available in India also?
Yes, we have it in Cytecare. It's available all over.
Oh. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Are there any more questions?
So this will also be made available in the drive. But what we want is basically for parents to take this home, think about it, because these are young adults who do not have consent rights. So we want the parents to be giving the consents, and so if parents have any queries, this is our time to settle it and to clear them, so that you have a clear mind by the time the decision comes. So that's why we want you to be interactive and ask any doubts that you have that you want to be clarified. So since the children are not yet in the major group and they do not have consenting rights, it would be, parental rights.
Yeah, we are looking forward for the drive now. We got the rough idea of how what has to be done because we did not have knowledge about this. We were confused at what age to give also.
Yeah. So when we're looking at the drive, we're also thinking of pap smears. So it could be anyone coming for a pap smear where we could arrange it with privacy, or it could be anyone coming for doubts regarding the pap smear. But yeah, the pap smear is also something that we want parents to have an uptake on.
Okay.
Right. So are there any doubts? Anything on the chat box? Which was 14. We didn't answer 14 questions. Oh, okay.
Ma'am, I believe everything has been covered quite well. And if there are any further queries, I believe they will be able to reach out to either
Yes.
Spandana ma'am or us. And we'll
Right. So
definitely
I'm
try
going
to
to hand
queries.
over to the team. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, guys. So if at all you have any questions, please write to Spandana ma'am. She'll check with Dr. Shruti and get back to you. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Bye-bye.